Hello everyone and welcome to second edition of Europa Universalis free multiplayer. Now you might understand from the screen that there's something different about this Europa Universalis free, and you're correct. To avoid stereotype and to change scenery, I have decided to record the second multiplayer game in a mod, and that mod is MEIOU. Now, before half of you says it sucks and moves away, I would like to say and point out that MEIOU makes the whole game even more complex and more fun by adding over 800 provinces and changing a lot of important stuff in the game. So I would suggest you give it a try and follow me through at least first couple of episodes. And if you enjoyed the Brandenburg series and the Russia series, I hope this one will give you even more fun and more excitement. Now, to start up, I've been looking for a challenge. A lot of you suggested a nation in America or nation in Far East. So I searched and searched and searched, and I found several nations. These nations are Ceylon, which you see in front of you. It was one of the choices, but in the end I decided to not play Ceylon for several reasons. Ceylon is a really good choice and it's a lot of fun, but long parts of the game not much is happening. You rarely and very slowly expand. You have very few choices other than expand using trade, and until Europeans arrive, most of the area around you is dominated by larger forces. The provinces are really poor, and overall I finished up until late 1600s with Ceylon, and well, you'll have to take my word, it wasn't all that thrilling. It was fun for single player, but for multiplayer and especially recording, it wasn't all that fun. Now, the second choice you can see now was Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a really interesting choice. It's a Christian kingdom in Africa. It's really large and has a lot of enemies. Up to the north there are the Mamluks, south there are all big African kingdoms, to the east is Aceh and the Arabian Peninsula, and to the west you have Kanem Bornu and Central African nations. All of them are Sunni, so it's a drop in a sea. Now that one would be really fun, and if you don't know much about history of Ethiopia, I suggest you read at least a bit about it, because the country and the kingdom, it was a kingdom, has really interesting history. However, I decided not to play Ethiopia. I decided to play the third nation, which is this one, the tribal kingdom or tribal nation of Mali. Now, Mali has a lot of common with Ethiopia. Both are an African nations, both are fairly large, but Ethiopia is closer to Europe and is reached by Europeans much sooner. It has a lot of strong nations around it, but also has claims on most of them. It has a horde to the south, and generally a lot of interesting things happen there. It's a tribal nation. That means we're not able to, we're not a kingdom, we're basically a horde, somewhere between a horde and a real nation. So we'll have to do something about that. Now, I'll jump into the game and show you something about it. But first let me say that the first 2 or 3 parts are pre-recorded when I was sick. so I have to do a post commentary. On one side, it gives me a lot of choices in what to speak about and point out some interesting things I will remember or see while I'm playing the game. On the other hand, there is a slight discrepancy on what's happening on the screen and what I'm talking about in the first 2 or 3 parts anyways. But don't worry, it will all get normal and it will all get back. Second, I'm gonna record and process each session into one huge video. I want to test that, so sorry if you're used to 20-minute videos, but as this one will be much longer, I think it's kind of good to keep it in small sessions. Last but not least, I would like to say that we're testing a new set of rules for this game, where we did it the following way. The better your tech group is, the worse countries you can pick, because tech group is incredibly important. So we set it up this way. If you take Western tech group, you can only take 1 province minors. If you take Eastern tech, you can take 2 province minors. If you take the Ottoman tech group or the Muslim tech group, you can go up to 3, and so on. The worse the tech group, the less limit there is, and for Sub-Saharan and Far Eastern tech there is no limit. So that is why I have no limit and I'm playing Mali, while Lucky Strike, one of my competitors, is playing Luka, which is a 1 province minor. Now, even though I'm much stronger now, I can promise you that this will catch up with me in the end. I can promise you that. Just rewatch the episodes where Brandenburg pillaged and raped the African nations. Now this is gonna be the same, only I'm gonna be standing on the other side. Now, this is the whole map as I can see it in the beginning of the game. In the western part, you can see Mali having the, well, it's a pale mix of red and yellow, so probably something like pale orange. I would call it the brick red or something. Surrounded by Songhai, Tuareg, Jolof, and Mossi. In the east, you can see that I can see all the way up to Ethiopia and Mamluks, and all the way down to Africa. Now, MEIOU did a really good job on making the nations in Africa, well, giving them more chance. That's what I wanted to say. They focused on the Asian nations and on the African nations and even on the American nations, trying to give them more chances and more power so they could resist the Europeans. Well, probably not indefinitely, but at least for some time. So there's more provinces in Africa. The nations are not as bad. I believe that in the original Europa Universalis, they had like 40 or 30% tech. Now I have 65 as the nation in Sub-Saharan Africa. On the other view, you can see a close-up on the nation. You can see that I'm basically divided into 2 parts. One that is reaching the sea and the mainland, you could call it, but I have claims on most of my enemies. So I have claims on both Jolof and Tuareg, so we're gonna deal with that soon. And here is the first screen of the game, where you can see the modifiers for the tribal nations. Now, our rulers will reign until death. However, we have 13.1 year between changes, between policy changes, and we get 0.5 year magistrates, and our land fortunes modifier is plus 25%. However, on the downside, we get succession crisis and a pretender every time our with the dice, so that hugely destabilizes our nation, and it will. I can promise you that it will. Now, the first part to a good strategy is picking up your courtsman right. You can see that in Mayu, the courtsmen now have several ways how to help you. Each one has several different ways in which they help your country. Like this one helps with modifier and land force limits, which I just checked were both something we would desire. Other than that, the courtsmen quite suck, so I turned to the culture screen, where we can either arrange festival, endorse culture, commission painting, or tapestry. And as commission tapestry is the best one, we're gonna pick that, and we're also gonna commission a painting. After that, I'm gonna take the philosopher, who helps with production tech investment, prestige, and production efficiency, and a statesman, which helps with government tech, gives Euro magistrates bonus, and lowers national revolt risk. Now I'm gonna hire the guy who helps with land force limits and manpower, the statesman, and the last one, which was the one with the production tech. Yusuf Diara is his name. So we have a pretty good boost in the beginning. 3 guys, level 3, 2, and 1. So the next logical step, as you can see, is increasing the investment into our stability, which is quite logical. And next, we have to choose our units. There's more units in Mayu than in vanilla EU3, so we're gonna keep in North African warriors, and we're gonna switch the Royal Guard to noble cavalry. As you can see, they're better. Now let's check our domestic policies. By the way, Mali is incredibly tolerant nation, so we're quite decentralized, leaning towards aristocracy and serfdom, narrow-minded mercantilism. And yeah, I'm checking right now if we have our center of trade. We do, and as an African nation, we're probably not gonna be inclined to huge trading outside our own country, as it's gonna be hard for us because of the technology difference. So we're gonna go full towards mercantilism, which is gonna give us some bonuses in our own center of trade. And we get the worst possible outcome, which is no one wants to work, which decreases our tax. It was 13, now it's 11. Now we can start the battle preparation. So I'm gonna turn my king, or in this case Massa, into a general, and we have a mission to form a personal union with our neighbor, which is the Tuareg. Now I'm gonna try to get the strategy going, and by strategy I mean ally 2 of my neighbors and attack 1, so I wouldn't get swarmed while at war. Now, as you will see, I'm gonna recruit some units, and I'm gonna hit the bottom of my chest. One thing that's really interesting about Mayu is that there's much more inflation going on, and there's base inflation. So the base is not 0, the base is 0.05, I believe, which then makes your expansion much harder. I'm already moving my units up and recruiting some African warriors plus noble cavalry, so that I would be closer to my land force limits. As you can see, I'm already running low, so yeah, my inflation is up to 0.11 every month. But we're on the budget and doing good. We have no decisions at this point, so yeah, but there are some disputed successions going on. On a side note, we have a ship, and these are the players who are playing with me today: Knihus, Shin, Lucky, me, and Rag. Now, after some diplomatic involvement, I've decided to go into war first with my neighbor Mossi. Now Mossi is my southern, well, not ally, some southern neighbor, and is the weakest of the nations that surround me. I think and know, because I've already done this, that this will be an easy war, and Fez just offered me an alliance. However, they're quite far away and will be dealt with later. I believe it's Tuareg who are between us. The stability has been dealt with and I'm investing in government. However, as you can see, my treasury is actively minting, thus increasing my inflation, and the trade center isn't doing all that hot either. First I'm gonna lay siege to Guma, and then I'm gonna move to capital Yatanga, to capital Vagadugu, and then Yatanga. Now we're already sieging it, and one thing about Mayu is that they've boosted up the forts, so you can think of a fort. Basic fort is level 2, no fort is level 1, so all the provinces in the beginning should have a level 2 fort, which is really good. It adds up into the war, and it's not all that easy going around conquering Africa. I'm recruiting some more units at the moment to help me in the siege, because it's getting harder and my budget is quite strained. I'm also at full investment into land morale, which is rough. Yeah, we sieged it to 1.6 thousand men roughly. And we can't build anything because I haven't built the superintendents first, who they allow you to build. Our first event. New interest in arts. The many classes have begun importing many fine objects of art to impress their friends, and it gives us a bonus to culture tradition. Now as far as culture go, we're almost set. We just need the Divani script and we'll be ready. One thing that's very neat on Mayu is that even though you see ivory and copper, you see also many new resources in the game, like millet in this case. Now, contrary to my expectation, while I conquered Gurma, my enemy conquered one of my provinces as well. Well, I managed to turn the war around, but we're not gonna accept this peace. Now, at this point you can see one of the meta battles that were part of this whole war. What was supposed to be a blitzkrieg turned into a protracted war that took many years and even most of the first session. Now, hats off to the AI, they made me pay for every square centimeter, every city, every soldier of theirs that I took, killed or pillaged. Now, you will see that I will even lose this battle despite my huge advantage in numbers. Yep, there it goes. Hats off to the AI. Benign neglect is one of the best events you can get. 500 gold for nothing. So we'll take it gladly. At this point I'm regrouping troops on my own territory to reconquer the 2 provinces they took after I've beaten their army. I moved our national focus to Yene, as it has many more provinces around it than the capital in Mande. And we got minor grain importer and enemy controlled capital lost. This is one thing I like about Mayu. Many more events as well as improved AI. At this point you are watching the last battle between the great tribal nation of Mali and what is probably the tribal nation of Mossi. I have to admit though I don't remember what government type they were, but it doesn't matter. This is their last army and you can see me killing them right now. I have to admit that I already mentioned that AI has been severely improved in the Mayu mod, and man, it can bug you. It took me a long time to defeat them. I also found out by this point that my discipline is only 65, so yeah, as you just So there's just one province that is unoccupied by this point, and after I defeat this army, I was moving my forces there and sieging it. I think it was their capital. It doesn't really matter. We're off to annexing the enemy, everyone, and we're gonna do it just fine. So after the defeat of the enemy army, I moved my soldiers to the capital province of Ouagadougou, and we are now in the middle of sieging it on our way to complete annexation. Okay, we got government technology advanced level 6, which allows many new form of governments. So now we have to decide what kind of technology we will go for. Land would give us a morale boost, naval will give us dock and morale increase. So at this point we might as well go for naval, as we have one of the provinces where dock would be useful. We can't change our nation yet. That will take some time, and as you can see, the conquest of Ouagadougou is going well. They will fall at any moment. We're still below our support limit. We have 24 units out of 27, but the war exhaustion is incredibly high. You can see that this war has cost us a lot more than I would like. And just as that, Ouagadougou has fallen. So we're gonna annex Mossi for 22.5 prestige and 3 infamy. And here we go! Our first conquest on our way to becoming a major African power. So let's move our armies back to Yatanga, unite them, and create a one big chunk of army. Now I'm sending missionaries to all of these provinces because as we're Sunna and the far eastern part of Africa are Christian, the rest is pagan or animistic, whatever you want to call it. So we'll have to bring faith to these people. But one thing that I really like about MEIOU is that they made this incredibly hard by adding nationalism, non-accepted culture, and revolt risks to the base chance of conversion. So right now we have negative chance to converting any of these provinces due to especially high revolt risk being caused by our missionaries, nationalism, and basic reluctance to accept us. This is what the map looks like now. You can see that the Mali have grown, but there's a lot of wars going on. MEIOU added over 800 provinces, which brought many new states into the game. Right now I was searching for the wars ledger. Yeah, you can see how many wars are going on right now. That's an insane number. Before I was able to recover and integrate the defeated Mossi country, I was attacked by the horde which goes by the name Oyo. Oyo is a really sad little horde. It has just 2 provinces, and because of the game mechanics it is constantly entering into wars with its neighbors when it's not able to even defend itself properly. Now what's going on the screen is that I'm trying to find potential candidates for royal marriages, as I'm kinda trying to increase my diplomatic status in Africa. But what I really wanted to point out at this place is that Africa has a problem, and this was even enhanced in MEIOU, and the problem is called supply limit. In the end, what MEIOU and Africa does to you is that, for example, my armies that are invading Oyo are taking attrition even when they have 6 and 4 regiments, as you can see. They're taking attrition even if there were 3 units there. I cannot supply more than 2 units in the provinces of Oyo, and this is pretty bad. As you can see, my war exhaustion is 9.01 or 8.88 now, and I'm still taking attrition, and I will in the future wars. So the war of attrition is really easy in Africa, and I will base my defensive strategies on that a lot. Now, because we conquered Oyo, we got an event which is called Sacking of Oyo, which gives us legitimacy, prestige, and war exhaustion. This is a really good touch which MEIOU brought, and you will get that one every time you conquer a province. And as you can see, Fez is requesting assistance with Katsina and Zazan, but I'm not gonna accept it right now because we don't even have any borders, so yeah, that's why. Now, as you can see, we got the sacking of Ashanti as we conquered the second province of Oyo. And at this point I was finally able to get the Divani script, which is one of my most favorite cultural decisions when playing Muslim nation. So of course I took it. And right now I am probably going... Yeah, Fez reoffered the alliance, so no harm done, and Oyo is offering concession of defeat. But because we had some trouble and took some attrition, I see no reason why not to force them to pay tribute, as the war score is 100% for us. Because the colonization mechanics were remade in MEIOU, I'm not able to colonize that territory at this moment, and I won't be until I get quest for the New World. And Fez wants me to join the war again. Another prestige hit. Damn it! Wealthy neighbors. Rumors have reached Mansa Suleiman about riches beyond the Malian border. Factions were arguing that certain cities should rightfully belong to us, or at least should be sacked. Now, that means we've gained the core on Valata, which is a Tuareg province, and we're gonna use this core to later declare war on them. So I discovered that our one province neighbor, Ashanti, is having a gold province, and we can easily attack them using the Holy War Casus Belli. However, I will wait a bit before my war exhaustion goes down, because it's even decreasing my chance to convert, and then I'm gonna attack. Now, our armies are in position, and it's time to declare war on Zazan. And we're gonna use the Holy War, but we're not gonna ask our allies to join us, as we want Zazan for ourselves, and Ashanti is going to provide. However, as you will see in this video, the initial attack was not as good as I expected. Now, at this point, I'm planning the initial attack, you could say. Zazan is an animistic province, which is 33% jungle. So, as I would have guessed, I'm at this moment thinking about how to attack them in a way that it will not give me the penalty. I am reforming the army, sending more units to Ouagadougou, as the army is led by my general, or Mansa, at this point, while I'm sending the new army back. As you can see, I'm building level 2 fort, and I finished several improvements in my provinces. Most of them well, let me say it this way. The building scheme or building effects were completely changed in MEIOU. They have different effects, and as we will play, you will see me building random buildings, constructing random buildings. Sorry guys, having kind of a weird thought patterns right now. So you will find out easily which building is doing what. Now the initial attack is on its way. You can see that I'm sending the second army to arrive a bit later than the first army, so that I'll have the bonus from my Monza, who is not really good, but that's not as surprising. Now the discipline of my troops is only 65, as I said. I'm gonna have to change it. The Grand Army, which Mali starts with, is not such a good first choice, as it lowers the discipline by 20%. However, it gives you other possible bonuses. So you can see that I'm checking which other national ID I could pick instead of it. But I'm not gonna do anything like that today. Now, we have already attacked. As you can see, I'm getting all the penalties I could get, crossing and terrain. So it's effective a -3, and I'm already getting my ass handed to me. I'm losing 600 troops per round, or 500 troops, while my enemy is losing about 10th of what I am, which is not a good start. And that despite the fact that we have more than double of their size. I don't know if that changed or not, but Mayu is really working well with, well, discipline definitely changed. There are more modifiers now, and it ranges from, as you can see, 65. It can go even lower to as high as I believe I counted 170. It can reach up to there. So it's really a big difference here. Again, as you can see, I'm not doing all that well. You can guess how this battle gonna end. And an event, Trading Boon, which increases our population growth by 5%. That has been sold in Mayu as well. Population grows slower, and the plagues and other bad events hit much harder than they used in the old EU3 vanilla game. Still battling, still not doing all that well. I think I'm gonna take military drill, yeah, which helps the discipline by 5%, so that would be a difference of 25. You can see that the Grand Army has a lot of effects, as well as military drill. I'm unsure at this point where I changed my first national idea, but I know that down the line I'm gonna drop Grand Army, because it's really not a good choice in Mayu, as well as far as the start of the game goes. Later on, the land limit modifier plus 25%, or how much that is, and lowering of the infantry cost is really good. So yeah, we lost the initial attack, and we're retreating back to our own territory, while Ashanti still holding. The other army is moving from Vagadugu to Gurma to attack the rebels. Speaking of the devil, I'm changing national idea right now, so that will lower our stability by 3, but long term that's definitely gonna help us. I would go as far as to say that even this war will be won swiftly because of the military drill. Now my units have retreated to Yatanga, where there's an uprising of the, I'm not sure what kind of rebels, but there's an uprising, and you can see that my discipline has jumped up to 90, which is a 25% difference, which is quite a lot. Now the Ashanti army is moving to Vagadugu, so the plan here is to let them attack, and once they attack Vagadugu, I'm gonna move the Yatanga army to their province and send reinforcements to Vagadugu to defeat the Ashanti army. Once that's done, I'm already sieging Zazan, so they won't have any place to return, and will either retreat deeper into my territory, where they'll take attrition, or they'll be eliminated immediately. Now you can see that now they're taking higher damage than I am, and much higher damage. This is due to the discipline and also me having the advantage of defense and them taking -1 for crossing. Most of Africa is just plains, so there's really not much of penalties here, especially in the Western Africa. But you can sometimes encounter crossing penalty and jungle penalty. Now, my war exhaustion is going a bit down, but it will rise eventually. I talked already about the very low supply limits in almost every province. So their army was beaten, and as expected, they are retreating deeper to my territory into Gurma. Meanwhile, I'm sieging Ashanti, and what am I doing right now? Yeah, I'm checking my attrition. It went up by 0.3 just in one turn. So I'm gonna, supply limit 8. And as there's a bonus of 3, I'm gonna move as many units as possible away from that place. Probably, like more than half of my army. 7 regiments, so there will be 6 left. Yeah, 6 left, and probably 6, which will still give me 1 point of attrition by, but that's not a lot. So the Ashanti army is being defeated in Gurma right now, and we've defeated them, and they're retreating to where? Oh, to Ashanti. Wait, so are they Ashanti or? Yeah, they are. But the province of Ashanti is occupied by oil. Wow, that's weird. They probably lost it to the enemy. As you can see, I built the superintendent, so now I can construct buildings, and the investment into stability to reclaim it. So we followed the army into the province of Ashanti, well, the Ashanti army into province of Ashanti, which is not theirs, and we are currently getting rid of it. Now, the city of Zazan will fall any moment, and thus will our victory be complete. Once I destroy this army, which should be any moment now. But my attrition is going really high. Well, the fun in Africa is that you take attrition even in your own provinces most of the time. Joy. This is why I call, and I will call, Oyo many times a sad little horde. You can see that they're being maimed and raped and pillaged by 3 armies at the same time. And this will probably happen many times in the future. I saw it so many times I can't even recall. Well, Zazan will fall at any moment. It's already at 100% and the walls have been breached, so I'm periodically sending my troops to death under the walls. However, we still haven't broken them down. Now you can see that my missionaries are still unable to convert the local populace in the 3 conquered provinces. Nationalism, revolt risk, and non-accepted culture prove pretty much too much of a pain. Nationalism minus 12.5, chances 1.8, 6.8, and 7.3, but all with minus in front of them. I have to admit, the Ashanti are proud people. They will fight to the last man. Just look at them. 270, 250, 230, 210, 195, 181, 166, and nothing. And we are watching the last assault on the walls. Yep, sacking of Zazan. To winner goes the spoils. Annexation is next. 15 prestige and 2 infamy. Very nice. And there you have it. 4th province in this session. Obligatory removing of the troops and checking the new province. Not a bad production. The gold will be most appreciated by our national treasury. No need for a missionary. He won't do us any good right now. Yep. However, the revolt risk is not all that good. You will see it. Yep, right now. The 4 new provinces have very high revolt risk. Nationalism and high war exhaustion is to blame. But we've grown quite a lot, I think. We've grown. However, so did Darfur, Ethiopia, Yao, and Kanemborn. Pretty much everyone around us. So this is the end of first session. Mayu has grown. We gained 4 animistic provinces, Yatanga, Zanzan, Ouagadougou, and Gourma, which is pretty good. 4 provinces is a lot. And we even reached 1.6% chance to convert Yatanga. So next time we'll convert them. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did playing this, and hope you will join me next time for more Europe Universalis free MEIOU Tribal Nation of Mali.